location. They'll be performing at halftime. .7 seconds left. As I mentioned, there's said no fouls again. They actually have one, pardon me, but they're gonna have to put it up quickly. Winner, no.
At the end of
first
two,
half ends.
the Highlanders
53
35,
to 35.
your Hurricanes
Fantastic
50.
second quarter here for the Hurricanes. And now it's a matter of readjustments here for Resner and his Highlanders in a must-win game for them. Pretty well every game from here on in is a must-win for them. So we're going to take a break here. 53 to 35, and we'll be back here with third quarter coverage here on YouTube. You're watching NBL Canada.
Hurricanes fans, welcome to halftime. Welcome to your halftime showdown tonight, featuring basketball Nova Scotia's under 10 boys. Sackville Storm. Let's hear it for them. Little 6-on-5 matchup going here tonight. And we'll introduce you to these strapping young players.
Welcome to the Scotiabank Center. It's NBL Basketball Canada here on YouTube. It is the Halifax Hurricanes taking on the Cape Breton Highlanders, 53-35. My name is Dan Hobson, and for folks just tuning in to us, Highlanders got off to a pretty good start, but things just sort of came off the tracks there in that second quarter, and now they have a big hill to climb, down by 18, Vince.
Yeah, I just want to apologize to the folks out there that were trying to get, tuned into the live stream at the top of the hour, just after 7 o'clock here, Atlantic time at Scotiabank Center. Some unfortunate things happen here at Scotiabank, unable to bring you the first 24 minutes, but like you said, Dan, the first 24 minutes have not been kind to the Cape Breton Highlanders. The Highlanders shooting abysmal, 37% after the first 24 minutes. They trailed after the first quarter, 28-19. Around the 5-minute mark, things start to change and things start to turn for the betterment of the Halifax Hurricanes. They were able to get some defensive stops. They've been able to get into the open floor, get some easy buckets, and they've been able to do things offensively, all on the strength on their defense. And that's been the mantra all season long for the Halifax Hurricanes. When they are good defensively, they are very tough to beat because their offense feeds off their defense. And then in the second quarter, it just got even worse for the Highlanders as they were able to only put up 16 points to the 25 of the Halifax Hurricanes. So here we are, 53-35 after 24 minutes. A big mountain to climb for the Cape Breton Highlanders. They got 7 games left in this regular season. They're 2 games behind the Moncton Miracles. And right now, just, pardon the pun, they need a miracle right now if they're going to pull this one out.
Second half underway. Here's C.J. Washington driving, loses the handle, doesn't get a shot away as he might have got a little contact, but of course no fouls. Play continuing on. Here is Frazier. He was going to be one of the keys here for the Highlanders after he had 2 games. He started the first 2 games of the season. He had 2 points and 8 points, and he's followed up with double figures in 4 straight, hoping to make it 5 here in the 7th and final regular season matchup between these 2 teams, as that's unable to go. 53-35 it remains.
He had a solid first half though, 7 points, 2 rebounds, but he needs a little bit more. He's got to be a little bit more aggressive offensively if they're going to get back into this.
Tyrone Watson took advantage, being open, and then just flicked it up and in for the bucket. 55-35 as we pass the 1-minute mark here in the third quarter. Frazier swings it over to Rush. Here's Mann now. Saw a little bit of an opening, puts it up, but he's hits iron that time as he was well short on that one on that drive there by Mann.
And that's not easy to do, to try to cut Charles Mann Jr. off to the rim. And Watson did an outstanding job as Billy was able to knock down that 3. White had an outstanding first 24 minutes, Dan. 14.7 rebounds, and that's a 17-point on the evening. So, I mean, if they can continue to be defensively strong and a good defensive set, offensively responsible individually, they're going to be okay. That's the Halifax Hurricanes.
Nice athletic move there by Jaron Skeet, but couldn't get the finish. And quickly back up the other way, Mason, and lays it up and in, and Resner. We've seen this trip to the scorer's table, calls timeout here.
Yeah, he
barely reached the 2-minute mark.
He had no choice. He had to, stop the bleeding now. And I mean, the Hurricanes off to a quick start here in this third quarter. An outstanding bounce pass in transition by Clint Scales. Clint Scales another outstanding game offensively. That's his 7th assist on the evening. Just 1 below his league average at 8 per game. So all things going very well here for the Halifax Hurricanes. Not so much for the Highlanders, trying to chase down that 4th and deciding playoff spot in the Atlantic Division. 2 games behind the Moncton Miracles, but have 1 game in hand versus the Miracles as they have a pivotal home-and-home series towards the end of the season between these 2 teams, the Highlanders and the Miracles, which pretty much may decide which team will go to the playoffs and which team doesn't.
And the Highlanders are going to be, well, without the services of Chadrick Boufield because he's having his going to be there for the birth of his baby in Toronto, so he is inactive. And of course, we have not seen Booker Woodfox in the lineup here tonight. Now, he has put up some fantastic numbers against the Hurricanes. 15.4 points in 5 games this season versus the Hurricanes. He's not in the lineup. And of course, number 10, Thorns, out for the rest of the year because of a knee injury, and he was putting up fantastic numbers, shooting 40% from the field, and was pretty good from outside, 37.8%. So
Yeah.
you look at that, injuries as well as, players inactive there, it's kind of hurting them, and that's pretty well resulting in the one-sided score right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and they have been relegated to small ball. That is the Cape Breton Highlanders. If you look at their lineup, they're averaging about 6'6", and in the professional game, unless you can shoot the lights out from beyond the arc, if you're averaging around 6'6" throughout your lineup, you're going to have problems with the big teams that like to put the ball down inside the painted area and pound that rock. And tonight, the beneficiary of that big type of game inside that painted area is Billy White. He's having a good performance, leading all scorers with 17 points.
Resner not too happy with the officiating there.
Make it 19. Make it 19, a beautiful run out and lob city. You can see in the replay, unselfish basketball by CJ and a connection at the rim between Watson and Billy White.
White's heads up, sorry.
But it all comes on the strength, Dan, on the ability to get up and down the floor, but it all starts on the defensive end, getting turnovers, getting the one and dones, and pushing the basketball on the offensive end. Tonight, you can see the sense of urgency offensively in transition by the Halifax Hurricanes. They are not laying back and walking the ball up the court. They're looking to push on every opportunity.
Mann Jr. called for the offensive foul. Hurricanes unable to hit there on the previous possession. It goes out of bounds. And you want to talk about White. He's had some pretty good games against these Highlanders, averaging 14.2 points in the 5 games this season.
Yeah, Billy White has been very good all season long, and he's been very consistent. Definitely one of the high performers every single night for this Halifax Hurricanes team. But you got to believe that's what he came back for. You got to believe he was on that championship team. You know, he wasn't as much as a difference maker on that championship team. He contributed down the stretch in that playoff run. But this year, he came back with a leadership role, and he's taken that leadership role to the next level.
Oh, there was a big-time collision there. Players okay, 2-on-2. Rush going back, held, but he does get the shot up, so he'll have 3 throws coming up here. And at 8:34 left to go here in the third, 64-35.
Hurricane foul on Mason, his second, team second.
Does the score kind of surprise you? Like, you figure with the amount, how important it is, and just seeing that, I still think that because they showed up a little bit late, I think it really takes away from your routine, because players are routines. They have their naps at time. They have a time where they like to get to the arena. Right. When travel down the road, that doesn't quite happen. Things don't go the way that you'd like, and that's why it's winning on the road is tough.
Yeah, but there's lots of adversity throughout the season, and this Cape Breton Highlander team have been through a lot of adversity, and we've seen it, front and center here at Scotiabank Center, where they've come in with 7, 8, 9 guys, and not only be able to play maybe 6 to 7 guys in a run of the game, and still manage to beat this Hurricane team. They've done it twice. They've done it back-to-back games here. So, I mean, with the adversity facing that they came in and they didn't get in time, they didn't get a really good shoot-around, that should be the last thing of the troubles that they should be really worried about. Every game now, going down the stretch, they have to play desperate basketball. That is the Cape Breton Highlanders, if they're going to make that playoff run and that playoff push and get that 4th and deciding spot in this Atlantic Division. Every possession has to be treated like gold offensively. Every defensive possession, they need to have outstanding attention to detail and make sure that they have their assignments on every given possession. But right now, they are struggling in both of those categories.
67-36, coming up to 4 minutes gone here in the third. Billy Rush sends in the corner. Frazier for 3. He threw that one off balance. Didn't look really good shooting that one. Here is Clinkscales, and he's held there by Skeet. It's going to be on the floor, so.
Yeah, good decision there in transition defensively by Skeet. He's racing back the other way. The Hurricanes have numbers. You can see here, Clinkscales ready to throw that lob. City has 3 options on that 3-on-2. And Clinkscales has been very good this evening for the Hurricanes. He's been very good all season long. And we mentioned Billy White and his leadership role. Clinkscales, since day one, in a Halifax uniform, has been looked upon as being a leader, and this season he's been showing it every single game as he's able to knock down that 3.
From downtown makes it 70 to 36. Clinkscales from downtown this season coming in the game at 33.8% hits there. And it's a laugher here at the Scotiabank Center. Watson now on the turnover. Yes, sir. Bucket.
Too easy.
Doubled at 72 to 36.
Too easy. 13 turnovers on the evening for the Highlanders. They continue the mount. You can see that there's no sense of urgency right now. Guys are playing the individual game. No ball movement. Another turnover there. Losing the handle is Whitterer. So what do you do if you're Ben Resner? How do you right the ship right now? How do you get these guys in a frame of mind and get them back into a positive sense? Right now, this game looks like it's pretty much out of hand. Looks like they pretty much cannot come back. 36 points, 7 minutes left in the third quarter. You can pretty much say this one is done. But it's professional basketball. We still got a lot of time left. You never know what a break here, a break there. You know, they might get back into this, but it's one possession at a time, Danny.
Yeah, and Washington on that possession took too many steps, called by Matt Boyle. 6:54 left to go, and just while you were talking there, had a chance to see Resner and Frazier having a conversation, and you were saying, but you know, this one pretty well, you know, done here for. Do you see the sense really in bringing in Frazier now? And just maybe letting it ride here as Billy Rush hits that one.
Well, pride is still on the line.
And make sure that Frazier, you know, stays rested, because
yeah, absolutely.
We talked about injuries earlier.
Yeah, they can't afford to have any more injuries, and they can't afford to have any more man time missed by their top players. But it comes down to pride too, as Billy is able to beat Rush down on the block there. No help on the backside as Billy Rush is pleading to his teammates, looking for help on the block, trying to deal with Billy White. But I mean, as you can see there, he's able to spin in the down towards the paint and get it to go through the contact. But I mean, just to finish that thought, they're pros, so there is a sense of pride on the line. Nobody likes to get blown out. Nobody likes to lose games at any level, especially at this level. They are paid to play basketball games and win basketball games. So you're going to see the fire still in the eyes of a Chad Frazier, willing to go back out there and fight for his teammates and try to get some of this pride back. This has to hurt right now for Ben Resner and the Cape Breton Highlanders coming into this game, knowing that they were able to beat this team the last time they were here, 100-99. But they're not getting the same, you know, resolve right now. But there's lots of basketball left. Like I said, one possession at a time, one defensive stop here, one offensive possession where they're able to get a positive sense. They may have a chance to get back into this.
They just got a turnover as Cox was able to handle that. Here's Duron Scott, the guard of the Cal Poly Pomona. Whitterer, well short, hits iron. He had 19 points in the 91-88 loss back in February 10th here to the Hurricanes. 75-38. Taquan Zimmerman getting some playing time here. And Dixon coming in, and you're saying about injuries here for the Highlanders. That's the thing here, is that you pretty well see that he's Coach Leslie gone to the bench here to prevent some injuries here, as Zimmerman, Bowen, and Cox are in.
It's that time where other guys get the opportunity to get some playing time and, you know, form their game going down the stretch as well for the Hurricanes. So not only the Highlanders get the opportunity for guys that don't get chances. Nice throwdown there by Walker. See, they need more of that. They need more dribble, drive, penetration, creativity off the drive, and guys going and moving without the basketball. In the first 24 minutes, a lot of standing around and a lot of individual play, guys not moving without the basketball, so their offense was stagnant, and they played right into the hands defensively for the Hurricanes.
Wild shot thrown out there by Dixon, and Duron Scott comes up with it. Rush, wide open look for three, bucket.
Well, there you go, back-to-back possessions. They were able to get some good looks, all on the strength of good ball movement, guys running the floor, getting space within the floor, and it opened up that floor, and Billy Rush was able to knock down that triple.
Poole can't hit, and he was too strong on that one, and you can see that he's had a little bit of struggles coming up. Had a really good game Sunday afternoon here, and it looked like he was breaking out, and Coach Leslie got to keep him on here just to maybe work out some things here to try to carry on in the rest of the season and in the postseason.
Yeah, that's the hopes for everybody within that lineup, 1 through 12. Coach Leslie likes to use a lot of guys and likes to use his reserves just as much as his starters, and they are very big parts of their success, and they've been the very big part of their success throughout the season, and I don't see it changing throughout the playoffs.
This is where they miss Lou Fell, as the Hurricanes are able just to get rebounds, just like
second and third chance opportunities.
Second and third,
yeah, coming up big, and like we talked about, we touched on it, that 6'6" lineup that they average, not good enough, and Zimmerman able to be a beneficiary of that third chance opportunity. So I mean, if you're averaging 6'6", you can't really rebound the basketball consistently without enough, bigs to be able to block out properly.
Duron's cross-court pass picked off by Poole. Alley-oop, Bowen ran out of air, so now it will be Dixon. He'll bring it out as they'll take as much time here off the 24. Settle up here for a shot. Taquan Zimmerman, really good from shooting outside the arc in their win against the River Lions on Sunday. Poole now, corner three with the clock at 2, and he gets that one.
That's a positive shot there. Good spot up by Mike Poole. You like to see Mike Poole hitting those shots, and Poole's going to be very important throughout the playoffs in the reserve role. Be able to knock that shot from that distance.
82-45, 3 minutes left to go. Taquan Zimmerman hands it off to Bowen. Step back jumper over Rush that can't get it to go. There's a fight for the ball, and the ball goes out of bounds. Matt Boyle explaining here to Ben Resner, as Resner thought a foul should come up, and Clinton Springer, the Carlton product, at 6'4" guard, will return here for Witter.
Mike Poole doing an outstanding job moving without the basketball. Didn't get blocked out on that second chance opportunity, was able to force that.
Cox driving, fouled there by Mann.
So a good step through.
Breton foul on Charles
See
Mann,
good two-man game off that
team
pick and
foul.
roll between him and
Number 5.
Taquan. Too much of the body there by Charles Mann Jr. Will give Anthony Cox an opportunity to go to the free-throw line to knock down a couple.
Meanest guy on the court, Anthony Cox.
Cox has struggled from the line this season, right around about 62%. Not in the 50 range, but definitely not his specialty. 41 out of 66 will make it 42 out of 67. He hits that one.
Cox getting the opportunity to play as the Barry unable to go this evening, and Cox once again being active.
1 and 2 that trip. 2:43 left. And slam is Duron Scott.
Yeah, he's been very aggressive in this third quarter, looking to get a little bit more aggressively in attacking the rim. Been one of the only players really this third quarter by the Highlanders that is looking to be aggressive off the bounce.
Halifax
Cox
foul on Anthony Cox.
gets fouled, but he
His
also
second
gets a finger in the
team
eye.
foul, number 3.
He tried to wink that one off. And the usual smiling Cox there, not showing the pearly whites right now, as he's still trying to get his wits about him after that. Finger in the looker. Here's Scott trying to get away from Bowen. 2:13 left. Puts the shot up, and nobody around in a blue jersey, so it's easily rebounded there by Renardo Dixon, who hands it to Zimmerman, gets across the timeline. Bowen. Dixon, nice ball movement, less than 2 to go. Poole puts it up, and it's short. And Cox
Basket counts for Anthony Cox.
with the hoop and the harm.
Yeah, the rotation not there. You can
Highlander
see
foul on
guys
Billy
standing
Rush.
around, a battle underneath the rim between Cox and Springer. Springer lost that battle based on size and athletic ability, as Anthony Cox, the bigger man at 6'8", able to step through and push away 6'4", Carleton University product, Clinton Springer. So he'll go to the line and finish the three-point play. As you can see in that 3-2 zone, not a lot of rotation and a lot of blocking out on the block area, and we've seen it several times this evening where they're getting second and third chance opportunities.
Two straight misses from the line there for Cox, but Poole comes and gets the bucket, and Resner calls another timeout.
He's frustrated right now. You can see a lot of frustration on head coach Ben Resner right now, and forced to call that timeout. We're still at a 40-point deficit in this third quarter. Had some resolve there in some possessions, offensively and defensively, the Highlanders did, but just not enough consistency. I mean, coming into this game and playing this small ball style, not having the ability to really play defensively one-on-one individual basketball has hurt them. And you can see it, and it's hurt them on the scoreboard. Second chance opportunities, rebounds, points in the paint have hurt them. The bigger team in the Halifax Hurricanes have taken advantage of their advantages this evening. That's been one of the keys, that Halifax is not settling to stay away and play into the hands offensively of the Cape Breton Highlanders. The Highlanders want Halifax to chuck it from beyond the arc. They want them to shoot the 16-footers. They want them to shoot the pull-ups. But Halifax haven't been playing into that type of style. They've been rotating the basketball, moving the defense, getting opportunities to attack that 3-2 zone in their half-court sets and get to the rim and finish at the rim. And when they haven't been able to do that in their half-court sets, they've been getting second, third chance opportunities, all on the strength of their bigs. Their bigs averaging 6'8", 6'9", and Billy White, Ronaldo, Anthony Cox. They've had huge games with second chance opportunities and offensive rebounds. And then you mix in small forwards like Mike Poole that are getting second chance opportunities off of missed free throws and then knocking down the jumpers. That only mounts to the problems for the Highlanders that they've been having defensively.
Well, the Highlanders brought a big fan base with them from Cape Breton, but they haven't had much to cheer about. In the meantime, man will go to the line and shoot a couple of free throws here in a 40-point game with 96 seconds left to go in the third.
Team foul number 4, Charles Mann at the line.
Mann from the line this year, coming into this game, 129 of 165, works out to be 78% from the line. Gets that one to go. And of course, he had 18 points versus the Hurricanes back on March 5th. And a losing cause, of course, the season series belonging to the Hurricanes, 4-2 in the last game. Of course, the Highlanders came out with a 1-point victories, 100-99. Hoping for better fate here, but not happening right now. 87-49. 80 seconds left to go. Lead pass. Scott with the backhand.
Scott.
Bucket.
Yeah, beautiful stretch pass in transition by Billy White. Touchdown and completion on the other end to Duron Scott with a beautiful left hand at the rim as he was able to elude the defender.
1 minute left to go. Taquan Silver behind his back to Dixon. Bounce past the Cox. Shot clock at 6. Bowen driving towards the net. Fade away there by Cox. Bowen has to put it up. And he does just in time, but he's fouled, so he'll have free throws. But that was good awareness there by Bowen there, knowing that the clock was running down, had to put it up, and then the foul there by the Highlanders, Springer.
Yeah, the struggles continue defensively, in particular rebounding on the defensive side. Second and third chance opportunities continue to mount as Bowen did an outstanding job of stepping inside and through Springer and gaining position, unable to knock down that first of 2. But it seems like every trip down in the half-court set, if the Hurricanes don't make the first one, they're definitely getting their opportunities with the second and the third. But it's determination and wanting to rebound the basketball. And tonight, you can just see that the Halifax Hurricanes want it a whole lot more than the Cape Breton Highlanders. You would think coming into this game. If you've watched these two teams play tonight for the first time, you think that the Hurricanes are trying to make the playoffs, and the Highlanders already.
A big slam there by Bowen.
Look, clear
Missed
to
it
death.
from the line. He said, I'll make that up.
He's had a
The
pretty
big
solid
flush.
game, Bowen, this evening in the reserve row. Even though this has been a blowout, but he's been very consistent offensively. It's probably one of the better games we've seen this season from Bowen.
Hurricane foul.
The
on
Georgetown product.
His
You
third.
can see in the replay.
Team foul number
He
6.
took off,
Charles
man. Opened up
Mann
the
hits
flight deck
line,
for
shooting
Bowen.
3.
Bowen's been very good offensively.
He's got his third foul there as he fouled Mann, so Mann will have 3 from the line here. 27.5 seconds left in the third quarter. Still talking to referee John Hunt about that previous foul there as Mann hits the first. As the Hurricane Force start to get vocal, but that doesn't faze Mann as he hits the second. Chance here to go perfect here on this one. And Kent goes 2 for 3. The type of night it's been there for them. 89-53. 20 seconds left to go. Bone, who, as Vince mentioned, strong game here tonight.
Yeah,
First-
Aaron Bowen, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. That's 5 for 6 from the field. He's got 11 points. He's been very good, as you just mentioned.
Shot clock shut off. And the foul. And the foul was on the floor before the shot.
Yeah, Springer was looking for a continuation. Says he was in the
Halifax
act of
foul
shooting.
on Bowen. His 4th.
But it's going to
Penalty
be
in effect.
free throws anyways. Both teams are over the limit here. Both have 17 fouls there. So
Clinton Springer at the line, shooting 2.
may get the result that they wanted in the first place, getting an extra couple of points here as he gets that one. (89-54), 1.6 ticks left to go here in the third quarter. They'll just quickly inbound it there. Bowen tried to put it up.
At the end of 3, the Cape Breton Highlanders 55, your Halifax
here.
Hurricanes
The
just
third
a little
quarter,
bit
and
more.
shock seems to be the word that seems to be in my mind, because I was really expected probably like a closer game from them, and you know, see the variety, difference of score, 34 points after the third quarter. I mean, as you said throughout the broadcast, this is a team that has given the Hurricanes a little bit of fits. The season series, yes, has been in favor, 4-2, but
they've won here.
exactly.
And that's the difference. And this is the final game here in game number 7 in the edition of the Battle of Nova Scotia. They've been successful. They're back-to-back games here. They've come in and they've stolen victories down the stretch. So, I mean, the 35 points in the first 24 minutes, that doesn't help anyone if they're trying to be successful, especially at the professional level when you're surrendering 53 points to your opponent. So that didn't help after the 24 minutes. And then you look at this quarter, which was just a little bit better, but you lose it by 16. Your opponent scores 36, you score 20. So it all starts on the defensive end in the sense sense of urgency, and there hasn't been tonight. And if you take a quick look over at the bench of the Cape Breton Highlanders, there's not a lot of positive and smiley faces over there. They really don't have anything to be, very happy about. But an opportunity, 12 minutes left. Let's see what happens. But I mean, this is a huge mountain to climb, and probably one of the biggest mountains that they've been trying to be able to climb all season long. And to come into this building and beat this Halifax team, they need a 365 turnaround about face to get this one done if they're going to be able to steal this one down the stretch. I really don't see it happening, but they need to build on some of the positives that they were able to mount in that third quarter. So if anything, make sure our guys are healthy at the end of 48 minutes and nobody sustains any type of long-term injury, because that's one of been the type of the adversities that they've been able that they've been trying to deal with all season long, the injuries to key guys. So they don't need any injuries to key guys thus far. But they need to continue to be positive and look for the positive going into the next game.
Well, a little bit of news here that I know that probably isn't going to be good news here for the St. John Riptide. They have 3 games remaining, so even if they win them out, the best they can finish is 25. So the Hurricanes are 11-51 away from clinching first place here in the Atlantic Division, second straight year. And they're pretty well in control of this one for sure. Up 89-55. Oceano will get some playing time here, as well as Haywood. Here's Cox now, solid game as well. Zimmerman for 3, yes.
Good ball movement, an outstanding movement. Without the basketball, Zimmerman is able to knock down that 3, and he's been very good from beyond the arc this season for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, you talk about that. He was like 40% coming into this game here, getting another 3. 92-55. Dixon can't get that one to go. And here is the former Raidman and Lightning, Sefton Barrett now spinning, loses the handle, fade away, puts it up too strong. And there was a loose ball, but it's picked up there by the Hurricanes. Cox tips it up and slams it down with authority. 94-55.
And that's just been the way things have been going for the Highlanders defensively, particularly in transition.
1.5 gone here in the 4th. And all Hurricanes, 94-55. Man now in the paint, can't hit. Blueby had a second chance opportunity, but lost the rock. And the Hurricanes come up with it, and they'll cross the timeline. Zimmerman.
Yeah, Luby's got to fight a little bit harder for that offensive rebound.
Otieno with the up fake. Then puts it up and swatted away by Barrett, but the foul was before that. And
Highlander foul.
Otieno will go to the line.
His 3rd.
You can see the continuing the dribble drive penetration and trying to get inside that painted area by the Halifax Hurricanes.
Otieno 20 of 24 from the line, works out to be 83% this season.
Points in the paint. Big, huge margin, 54 points in the paint tonight for the Hurricanes compared to
96-55. Two minutes gone here in the 4th. Hurricanes 4 points away from the century mark. Here is Springer. Played last season with the Niagara River Lions and came over in a trade for Shaquille Keefe from the Windsor Express. Man drives, gets the contact. He'll go to the strike.
Foul on
9:46 left.
Team foul number 1.
Yeah, Charles Mann Jr. being very aggressive in the second half of the 24 minutes in this game. He's been very aggressive along with Deron Scott. The dribble drive penetration, 26 points though thus far. Points in the paint for the Highlanders, just not good enough, especially when you're a smaller basketball team. You want to try to be aggressive and you want to try to use, being the smaller team, you want to try to use your athleticism and your ability to beat guys off the dribble. And tonight just hasn't been, hasn't come to fruition for the Highlanders as they've been struggling offensively, especially in their half-court sets. A lot of guys standing around and watching individual play.
Otieno with the second chance at a new clock. Inside to Cox.
Anthony
Lays it up and in.
And that's how it's done. Both good ball movement, unselfish basketball. Zimmerman had a good shot, but gave up a better shot to Cox underneath the rim.
Barrett from downtown, not able to connect. 98-56, 9:13 left. Otieno getting some minutes off the bench. And now he's going to go to the line there. Resner thought there should have been a charge, but Mann Jr. is going to be called for the block.
Mann, his 4th. Team foul number 2. Otieno at
That's
the
the 4th one against Mann Jr. Otieno, who's no stranger to Coach Mike Leslie. He was a member of the Island Storm, the same team that Leslie was an assistant coach with last year. Brought his talents here to Halifax there, and he's played a lot. Hasn't really played a lot. He's been more of a bench role player, Vince, but when he's come in, he's given them some minutes there. And
yeah, there's been some outstanding stretches there, in particularly at the start of the season, when Otino was coming off the bench and providing a lot of offensive, minutes. And defensively, he's been very good and been very sound on his individual defense. So he doesn't hurt you.
For 3.
The Brock Badger shows he can shoot for well out. He gets that 3, and it makes it 100-59.
I think he shocked himself by knocking down that triple.
Looks what happens when you shave the beard off, eh, Lukey? Comes off with the rebound, but actually Matt Boyle's going to call it a jump ball.
I'm not sure if it was the beard or just the surprise that he can actually knock that one down. I think he was thinking, okay, I need to get a couple shots up here.
You know, if the basketball thing don't work for him, he could be a wrestler. He's got that size and built, the hair and everything.
Never thought about it that way, but you might be on to something.
The classic line for Bobby Heenan, I could sign him up and rip him off and make a lot of money for him.
Okay, I've never heard that one, but I've heard it for the first time.
Yeah.
So it must be true. You heard it.
He should get a manager for sure.
Oh, showtime.
A
A little showtime in transition there by King Handles between the legs. No look pass in transition. As you can see in the replay, Joey Haywood, a little street ball there and one mixtape, as Kenny Otino definitely finishing at the rim on that 3-on-1. Once again in the third replay there, King Handles showing that he can handle the rock in the open floor.
He's driving. He's that traditional floater that was just short, but second chance opportunity quickly.
Otieno
showing some ups.
On the throwdowns.
Oh, everybody's into the act, and this been out of hand, has been getting like that since the second quarter. And Otieno coming down with the one-handed hammer. As you can see, the defense just not there. Second chance opportunity once again. Anthony Cox with the unselfish basketball. No closeout there by Mike Luby defensively, cutting off that pass for Otieno, cutting down the middle of the key. And Charles Mann Jr. chasing Otieno from behind. That's just not going to get it done defensively. And that's the type of plays we've seen pretty much from start and going to see to finish there, as the Hurricanes having lots of fun tonight here at Scotiabank Center and giving the fans a show. Something that they've, really not have been accustomed to. A lot of blowouts here this season. A lot of close basketball games, a lot of games won down the stretch by the Hurricanes, and a lot of games, that didn't go on the other side of the win-loss column as down the stretch as well. So a relaxed night here Wednesday night, and giving the fans a show here. As you can see, just before that timeout, Joey Haywood showing his skills in the open floor. King Handles on his Twitter handle, and he was definitely showing it and was on full display in transition. But what do you say now if you're Coach Ben Resnick? You continue to talk about pride. You continue to say, guys, okay, let's try to dig in here and have a little bit of pride here and really not allow these guys to show us up. We may be their opponent in the first round if we can right the ship with the 6 remaining games left. We are 2 behind the Moncton Miracles. We have 1 game in hand. We have a home-and-home situation down the end of the season where we'll give ourselves an opportunity to make the playoffs. But how do we get better right now? We get better right now defensively, 1 stop at a time. We got 7:32 left in the fourth quarter. How can we come together as a team and turn this around? Because right now they need some resolve, and they need to try to figure things out if they're going to give themselves an opportunity to get to the playoffs.
Well, we might not have seen it here, but I was looking over, and he was still working with the clipboard. He's never going to stop quitting, because the thing is, he doesn't want this team to really quit, because this is really important. Like, you may not come away with a victory here, but try to make sure they still come to, with their lunch pails and their hard hats there and not give up, because when you have games in hand and you're only down 2 in the win category, anything's still possible.
Absolutely. There's lots of basketball to be played, and it may come down to that very last game against the Island Storm where they're going to decide whether they make the playoffs or not.
Dixon, and before he could get the shot up, is fouled.
But the
Going against
mindset
Luby.
hasn't changed.
A
The
Breton
mindset
foul on
hasn't
number
changed,
12,
Dan.
Mike
I mean,
Luby,
the mental
second.
point
Team
of
foul
the sport
number
has to
2.
change. You have to believe that you can
Ronaldo
win. You have
Dixon
to believe
at the line,
that you can come
shooting the
together
deuce.
as a team and get this done and right this ship. Because right now, they're at a breaking point where, okay, we may not win this basketball game, but we need to put together some positive series defensively and offensively if we're going to be successful going forward.
104-59 as Dixon goes 1-2. 6:53 left to go, and been a very quiet Scotiabank Center. It's been one-sided, or rejected there was Luby. Sometimes you'll see coaches like sit down in one of these type of games, but Resner's still standing up. You can see, I think there, the green suit in your picture.
Well, you mentioned it several times. He's continuing to fight.
Hurricane
He's
foul
continuing
on
to
Zimmerman,
coach.
his
And he's not
second
going to change
team
his style
foul.
of the
Number
way he
2.
coaches a basketball game. He's going to continue to encourage his guys. He's going to continue to make sure that he gets the right interpretation on certain calls with the officials. So you can see that his style is not going to change. And that has to, resonate with his team. He's got to give his team that belief that they can have
Scott.
positive things done. And you said knocking down that jump shot is by Duran Scott, but they need more positive things to happen here. It's probably not going to happen tonight, but it has to basically translate over to the remainder of the season for them.
Zimmerman with the jumper there. This is where you pretty well take the game tape as well as the stat sheet and you just put it in the recycling bin.
Well, I mean, there's teachable moments for these type of games as well. You can look at defensive intensity. You can look at different series throughout the game where exactly it went, where the game went awry and where it was lost, and you can show guys, okay, individually, we didn't get it done defensively. Here's why. As a team, we didn't get it done defensively. Here's why. We need to change this type of culture right now. We're on the brink of making the playoffs. We're right there. Let's not give up. Now is the time to not give up. We need to come together as a team, and we need to be positive going down the stretch.
Luby spinning on Cox. They'll send it back out. Springer open, and that's short as he hits iron. Zimmerman quickly up to Haywood. Gets the contact, goes to the line, and you can pretty well see that with this being 5:05 left, all starters on the bench there for the Hurricanes, and they'll be well rested for their game, the final home game Sunday afternoon against the Moncton Miracles.
Yeah, not a lot of intensity defensively getting back in the open floor by the Cape Breton Highlanders. And you can see that shot by Springer really didn't have a chance. He really didn't give himself a chance with not great extension on that jumper, as it pretty much was strong from the beginning, but not getting back in transition and not, giving up the easy buckets just hasn't been there. Another second chance opportunity off a free throw. You just can't have it at this professional level.
Well, that's it, is they have to really find out. They need somebody to step up to be a rebounder, whether it's Witter, Walker. The thing is Lou Field is, could be out, depending on if he returns to the team. He's definitely out for the rest of the season. They have to get it into the playoffs for him to come back to be eligible. And somebody has to step up and rebound for this team, and they just haven't been able to.
Well,
The Hurricanes have cashed it in as Zimmerman hits another three.
Well, collectively, they got all five guys have to rebound the basketball, and size matters in some points. But I mean, at this point, if you don't block your man over, you miss your assignment on your rotation in the zone or your individual, defensive assignment, then you're going to have problems. There's no closeout. There's no, containment. They haven't contained tonight. They haven't contested shots. There've been wide open shots and opportunities offensively by the
Scott with
Hurricanes.
a layup.
So, I mean, if you don't do those things defensively, you're going to have a long night, and it's been a long night for the Highlanders. Not containing and not contesting and not blocking out has been the Achilles heel, and it's been their downfall in this game.
Haywood over Luby hits the rim, and Scott comes up with it. 3.5 left. Rush for 3. That's short, and Ochietto here with the board on the weak side. Throws it over to Zimmerman here with 3:20 left to go. And you can see there's no rush here. The Hurricanes now trying to maybe use up as much time on the clock as they can to set things up. Here's Haywood now. Once again over Luby. It bounces around and goes down 117 to 63.
Yeah, very late stepping up in the lane is Mike Luby off of that screen. Got to come a little bit quicker and a little bit closer away from the rim.
Rush. And a nice defensive play as the Hurricanes bench here trying to show Leslie what they've got here. Foul called here by Hansen.
Yeah, this Hurricane bench has been very good this evening, and they've been very good and consistent all season long.
Skied in for Rush.
Out of the wins that they've been able to amount all season long, I'd say probably half of them, the reserves have done an outstanding job and won it down the stretch for this Hurricane team. So if you're Mike Leslie heading into the playoffs, you got to be happy with the play thus far in the last 2 ball games here at Scotiabank Center.
Cox, elbow, yes, over Luby.
And that guy in particular has been very good. Since there was a notification that he might be released and then brought back on the day that he was released, he's been very good. And that's Anthony Cox. He's been playing some desperate basketball, some very good basketball.
Barrett's return to the NBL. And sometimes this is a little bit tough your first game back, unable, as he had pretty good open layup, but unable to get it. Bowen rejected there by Luby. Let's see if Barrett's got it here now. And once again, can't able to hit. And Springer with the putback.
Springer.
Less than 2 to go, 119 to 65.
Head coach Ben Resner continued to encourage his guys. You gotta love that. He knows that this is a mountain that they just can't climb. I mean, he just didn't have the intensity tonight, just didn't have the consistency, just didn't have it on all 3 aspects of this game.
There was a foul there.
Lost the battle of the 50-50s, the loose balls and the rebounds. It lost the battle offensively, defensively, just wasn't there. Unable to stay in front of the Hurricanes, keep them outside of the paint, just not there. Their zone, that strategy went awry. I mean, guys were just not playing it correctly. The rotations off of long shots, just not there. Second, third chance opportunities. We even seen 4th and 5th, and then rebounds off of, missed free throws. Just unexcusable at this level.
124 left to go. Gerard Scott, that's in and out, and Haywood gathers it strong side. Now we'll put on the Jets. End-to-end, Haywood. Bucket.
Joey Haywood's been able to do just pretty much anything he wants tonight. It's been and one mixtape for him. And a turnover and a good steal by Haywood. He's been able to do things in the open floor with his ball handling skills. He almost lost the handle there.
1 minute to go. A little bit.
Not sure how he was able to get it over the timeline in time before there was a violation, an 8-second violation call there, but he did with the quickness.
Halifax foul.
And Springer
on Springer, his 4th.
Called for the foul, his 4th, 51.96 seconds to go. 16 foul, the 4th personal against Springer. Haywood calling out a play. Swings it over to Dixon here. 45 seconds left to go. Hands it off to Bowen. Bowen spinning, puts the brakes on over Barrett.
That's a good defensive stop there individually there by Barrett, not giving up on Bowen. Bowen did several moves to try to shake Barrett, and Barrett did a good job of closing out.
Barrett and the struggles for him continue here as he can't hit that one. Luby fouled. He'll have 3 throws coming up here.
Hurricane foul on Anthony Cox, his 4th. Team foul number
Both
4.
teams
Mike
just
Lurie
trying
at
to
the
play out
line,
the string here in the
shooting 2.
last 5 minutes. Lots of razzle-dazzle by the Hurricanes, not so much by the Highlanders, but I mean, if you allow a team to do those type of things, you allow them to get in the open floor and have that type of showtime, they're going to do it. And Joey Haywood in particular was able to do a couple moves in transition and put on a little bit of a show for the fans here at Scotiabank.
Not much of a difference between the game clock and shot clock here as we are winding things down here in a 121-66 game. It was all Hurricanes.
What do you think of those
Highlanders came up with
Hurricanes?
good fight here. As we're counted
Halifax!
down, your Atlantic Division champions here in the NBL.
Give it
the
up for our
Halifax
rivals, the
Hurricanes,
Cape Breton
121-66.
Highlanders.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations
With a final score
to the Halifax
66
Hurricanes.
to 121.
Able to lock up first
Your
place
Hurricanes
overall in
have
the
laid
Atlantic
down the
Division, and they
gauntlet.
will have home court
One more
advantage
home game
throughout.
to go before the playoffs.
Beginning in the first round, whether they take on the Moncton Miracles or the Cape Breton Highlanders, but the Highlanders have lots of work to do in
Folks,
the remaining
thanks for
ball
joining us
games
tonight, and don't forget
of
to
the
join us
season.
on
But they'll
Sunday,
have
April the
great
23rd at
opportunity
2
to do
p.m.
that.
for
It's
our
not out of
final
reach.
regular
Only 2
season
games
home
behind in the
game as we
win-loss
square
column,
off
and
against
they have
the
1 game in
Moncton
hand
Miracles.
on the Moncton Miracles. So an opportunity for Coach Ben Resner to right the ship, but the mindset definitely has to evolve, and it definitely has to change going into their next ball game, and has to change quite quickly.
So the win, Hurricanes, we mentioned, Atlantic Division champions, 26-10, 3 games left. And the best that the Riptide can do is if they win all 3 would be 25. Not
Joining
enough
us
to
at
get
the mic
first
with a
place, so
sensational
back-to-back
4th
first
quarter
place
tonight.
finishes here.
Welcome
The
number
Halifax
5,
Hurricanes.
Kenny
Highlanders will drop to 11-23. And now, still, as just Vince has said, lots of basketball still to be played.
As
6
Kenny
games
mentioned,
coming
our
up here
final regular
for
season
the
home
Cape
game
Breton
is
Highlanders.
this
This is one
Sunday,
where they
April the
wanna
23rd.
Definitely put away in the
We tip
memory
off
bank
at 2
and
p.m.
file
against
it
Moncton.
there under
There'll
G
be
for
Bouncy
garbage
Castles.
because they do not
There'll
want
be David
to
Biles at halftime.
keep
It's going
this
to be
in
a
their memory.
sensational
It's
full
really
house.
probably their
Make
toughest
sure you get your
game of
tickets
the
now
year,
at
but it wasn't going to be
ticketatlantic.com.
an easy one.
Have a safe
Seeing
drive
some of the
home,
bodies that
Halifax,
they were
and good
missing,
evening
they were missing
from
like their
the
top
Scotiabank
rebounder,
Center.
Field. As we mentioned throughout the broadcast, of course, Wood Fox wasn't playing tonight, so you know it's kind of really hard to come to Halifax and don't have all your guns blazing. But you know, as Vince mentioned before, they've done it sometimes with like 7 or 8 players and have come to Halifax and came away with a victory, but not here, not tonight. 121-66. So for my broadcast colleague Vince Williams and the Silver Vision crew here at the Scotiabank Center, my name's Dan Hobson. Thank you for tuning in, and so long from Halifax. You've been watching NBL Canada on YouTube. Good night, folks.